Alright, I want to talk to you a little bit about a basic skill called graphing equations. Okay, we're going to graph this linear equation. I'm going to show you some steps. This should fill in the notes that I've given to you in class. If you don't have the notes, they are posted online. But there are two ways to graph these. And so if you don't remember how to do the way I'm going to show you with these steps here, I'm going to show you how to do it right now with a table. Okay, so we just create a random table. It doesn't really matter. We have a x side and a y side. The x side is, those are the random numbers we're going to plug in for our x value, and we're going to solve the equation, and we should get a y value that corresponds. This is an ordered pair that we're going to plot on our graph, and it looks like this. So I picked 0 as my first random number, so I'm going to say y equals 2 times 0 minus 4. So instead of the x, I plugged in 0. We substituted there. Well, 0 times 2 is 0 minus 4. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So this is the y value that corresponds with x equals 0. So I plug that into my table. I'm not satisfied. I need another point. So let's pick, I don't know, let's pick 3. 3 is a nice number. So I get y equals 2 times 3 minus 4. Okay, y equals 2 times 3 is 6 minus 4. And then y equals 6 minus 4. If you don't know it, put it in your calculator. You get 2. Alright? Well, that corresponds to the 3. So I have 2 points here. I could make more. Alright, but for the sake of time, let's not. So this point says 0, negative 4. So on the x-axis, I'm looking for 0. Well, it's right here in the middle. And then negative 4 on the y-axis. So this is my y-axis. It's my x-axis. 0, negative 4. Negative 4 is down here. I'm going to just put a dot right there. And then next point. So this is 3, 2. So x equals 3. So on the x-axis, I'm going 1, 2, 3. And then on the y-axis, I'm going to go positive 2. So 1, 2. So I went up 2. Now, I could make more points. That's okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to connect these lines. And I'm going to do the best I can with this edge of the sheet of paper. Let's see how skilled I am there. Boom. Alright. Whoa. Hey, not bad. I didn't have to practice that time. Alright, look. So I make a line, right? Let's try it this way. Let's try it these steps way. So if you forget these steps, you can always make a table and plot it. And that can go for any equation. Alright, identify the slope and y-intercept. Two components of this equation. Sometimes you'll have to manipulate it, and it won't be this nice and easy looking. But notice how y is on one side and x is on the other side, and y is all by itself. Okay? If it's in this format, it's really easy to identify the slope and the y-intercept. The slope is the coefficient of x. So in this case, positive 2. So this is our slope, or another word for it is called the rate of change. Alright? For linear functions, slope is the special name of the rate of change. But in word problems, they're just going to ask you for the rate of change. There's not very many word problems that ask you for the slope. If it does, it's probably asking you for the incline of a ski resort. But rate of change is slope for linear equation, or excuse me, slope is a rate of change for linear equations. Instead of writing 2, it's going to be helpful if I write as a fraction, so I'm going to write 2 over 1 here. Alright, so y-intercept is this constant, that's all by itself, and don't forget the sign with it. So this is the y-intercept, okay, and that's negative 4. Alright, next step. To graph it, we graph the y-intercept first. So the y-intercept here is negative 4, so let's go to our graph. On the y-axis, we're looking for negative 4. Hey, look, that coincidentally is already filled in for us. The next, we're going to count the slope, which is the change in y. So this top number here is going to be how the y changes over the change in x. Over, so this line here, the change in x. So this bottom number is how the x changes. Observe, negative 4. So we're going to start here at the y-axis, excuse me, y-intercept. Change in y is positive 2. So I'm going to change positive 2. 1, 2. The change in x is positive 1. So I'm going to go over positive 1. And we could do it again. So let's start at this point. Change in y, 1, 2. Change in x, 1. Alright? And what you'll notice is that it lines up with this line, just like our table created this line. So these start at the y-intercept, and using the slope to find points does the same thing. Now this is commonly known as rise over run, which is okay. That's absolutely fine. Very, conventional. But change in y over change in x is what you're normally going to hear it as. So just to kind of give you a heads up of what to expect there. Okay. Alright, and again, this is just a skill we're trying to practice. Here's a couple other examples that we can practice here, and let's try it out. So our slope is this first number here, the coefficient of x, okay, and notice that it's already in standard form, which is y equals mx plus b. Excuse me, it's in slope-intercept form. Alright, so it's not in standard form. That's a good thing. It makes it easier to identify the slope. Our y-intercept is this positive 2 right here. I abbreviated y-intercept. So we're going to find positive 2 on the y-axis. So where on the y-axis is that positive 2? Right here. Then our slope is negative 1 over 2. Alright, so instead of the change in y is going to be down 1 instead of up 1 because it's negative. And then it's going to be to the right 2. Okay, so you ask yourself, well, what if it were negative 2? So 1 over negative 2. Well, that's fine too. So if the change in y were positive 1, but the change in x were negative 2, so it went back 2. It still creates the same line. But the key is, only one of those two numbers was negative. The other one was positive. Okay. So let's try another one. Here's our slope. Here's our y-intercept. Now this slope, again, just like this first example, has only one number. So I'm going to write it as a fraction so it makes it a little bit more understandable. So 3 over 1. Y-intercept is negative 1, so we're going to find that. It's right here. And then we're going to rise 3 and run 1. And I only need 2 points to make a line, but I'll make another one just for ease. So rise 3, run 1, or change in y is positive 3, and the change in x is positive 1. So now I have a line that I'm going to attempt to draw without my paper. And that is the skill set that I'd like to practice with you today. Okay? Good luck, and I'll see you in class.